What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? First of all, let me just say this. They're working out. If you hear it, I'm sorry. I'll try to talk loud. I didn't want to wait until later. You know what I'm saying? Because I probably would have forgot. I just watched the episode. But I apologize for the noise. They are doing, trying to put like an awning or something on the building, make it stand out and all that stuff. So, that's the noise. And again, I apologize. But let's just get up into this video. Baby, we are back again for another episode review of Love After Lockup, Season 6, Episode 8, Wife or Warden. Okay? Let's just go, because in this whole episode, everybody needs to be away from everybody. Okay? I just don't understand putting yourself through this. Girl, I gotta clean up. I ain't had no energy for a minute, and now that I do, and I got a whole weekend off, so baby, I'm about to be trying to clean up here and there. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, Alexis and Julius. Let me just get this out the way, because at this point, like I said, I have a soft spot for her, and I really do. And it just pains me that she is doing something so stupid. Okay, she allowed herself to get into a predicament that is so and I want to say something so negative about that, but I'm not gonna do that, because no. But at the same time, I'm thinking it, and some of y'all probably thinking it too. Listen, here's the thing. So your man wake up. First of all, are y'all sleeping in a full size bed? I know he a little stick, and you kind of you your size or whatever, which is decent, which is fine for me. But that's a full size bed, baby. What he could have did was put in on trying to get y'all at least a queen. Okay, like come the freak on. It don't cost that much on Amazon. It really don't, because that's where I got my mattress from. Like $100. That mattress been good to me, okay? But when so you got that going on, right? They waking up, he talking about he about to go to the studio. He used to rap when he was younger, before he got to jail. And so he gonna do a little song and all that stuff. She was like, "Oh, you rap? Maybe you should get me up in the studio. Do a little song about me. How I used to be writing my little rams down or whatever." He was like, "What you think you Nicki Minaj?" Not Nicki Minaj. I said, and you ain't nobody. And I'm talking about Julius, baby. Julius, you are irking me. And after this episode in particular, okay, specifically this episode, I hope Alexis is sitting back and she's watching this and seeing how stupid she has been for this man. Okay, how ridiculous. Like, I get it. Everybody deserves love, okay? But I feel like you need to let love come into your life once you got your life together and you are able to, participate fully and equally in that love ship, okay? Not just putting it on one person, you know what I'm saying? Because that's literally what Julius is doing. He is using her for room and board, and I do feel like he do like her, but he ain't in love with her. He is with her for convenience, and I hate that. I really do hate that, because in my man, it goes into and this could be a reach, but with the colorism thing and how sometimes dark-skinned women especially always getting used, okay, and looking down upon, and and I feel like that's what he doing. That is what he doing. He really taking advantage of her, and it is pissing me off, because that lady is really a nice woman. She is nice, and she don't deserve that. Naive as hell right about now, but she is a nice woman, and probably would give you the shirt off her back. I don't know her from nowhere. Okay, but I get that from her. Her energy, her vibe is giving me that from the TV, and it's really pissing me off that he's playing her like this. And at the same time, Alexis, you got to take responsibility too. You got to take a little bit of accountability, because that man been in jail since he was 18 years old, and you want him to come out and be 100% faithful to you? Absolutely the freak not. Absolutely the freak not. His teenage years, the end of his teenage years, and the majority of his 20s are gone. He spent in prison, locked up, okay? And so therefore, You know, it's like this what you probably should expect. I'm so fucking sorry, y'all. Please don't thumb down this video because of that. But anyway, how about I was in the bed asleep like a couple of days ago? And when I tell you I ain't never been startled out of my sleep so bad, all of a sudden it was like directly at my window, and boom, 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 and I woke up and I literally thought my heart was about to bust out my chest because I thought somebody was coming in. I was dead asleep, okay? And so you got all of them combinations, baby. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was so confused, but I apologize. But anyway, so he talking about he don't want to get a 9-to-5, and I understand a 9-to-5 is not for everybody, but at one point you have to work a 9-to-5 in order to get to that entrepreneurship, that entrepreneurial, there it is, type of situation that you want to do, okay, that you want to go into business for yourself, because you need that 9-to-5 to help you get there. And then once you get settled and you making profit and all that stuff and you get comfortable enough, you can dismiss that 9-to-5, okay? That's like if you want to become an author, you need to still have a job that can fund your, want to be writing until you actually get a book out there that hits. You know what I'm saying? Same thing if you want to do music. Same thing if you want to do acting. You know what I'm saying? You still need a sustainable job that's going to have a sustainable income come in. And this fool talking about man, I ain't had no job. The last time I had a job, I was working at Taco Bell when I was 13, and I don't know what it is. Like, I just can't. I said, first of all, are you on something? Because the way he be, I be like, put them eyes down. Put them eyes down, okay? Put it back in your head, close the lid a little bit. Look like me, okay? That's just what it is. And, he was basically like, he want to get this rap thing going on. Baby, nobody is out here looking for an album from Julius, okay? Nobody is out here. Listen, Montana Mills. What's their name? Christine and y'all know the one that moved from New Jersey to Nevada with all them kids, and the other Love at the Lockup and all that stuff with all them damn kids. Girl, he was up there trying to be a rapper. He couldn't be no rapper. And you want to know what he had to do? He started working at a goddamn moving company to take care of his family. Baby, you gonna have to do something now, because Miss Gurley said, she was on the phone with her friend. She said, listen, he gone or whatever, so I'm in the house by myself. You want to come over? I was like, yeah, girl, you still feeling a little cuckoo, a little wheezy or whatever. She was like, girl, yeah, like my stomach just been, And she said, now, bitch, when was the last time your cycle came on? She said the last day of her cycle was the day before he came home. And I said, well, shit, bitch, you're pregnant. And so the friend comes over, they go get a pregnancy test. Bitch, she pregnant. Why would you... Mind you, last week when they was talking about, or when they had actually did their thing or whatever, he was like, pull out gang strong. And I said, weak as fuck, baby. Okay, you probably give me, as soon as you put that head in there, the head touched the outside. It didn't even go in there. It touched the lips and you just skeeted everywhere. It just skeeted everywhere because it's been a minute. Allegedly, it's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, oh my goodness. Now she trying to call him. He's not answering the phone. He literally hanging up the phone on her, forwarding her calls. And so now she finna go pop up on him. He's supposed to be at the studio. She realized that he not at the studio because I think he got his tracker on either he and her car, I think. So she got a tracker on her car. And know that he ain't at the studio. If I have to do all of this just to see where the hell you at, I don't need to be with you. And let's just go ahead and let's get this one out the way. Brooklyn and Brian, I want them to last, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. You want to know why? Because this is really why the episode is called Wife Awarding, because I get it, it's two different mentalities that's going on in this on this show. You have the spouse or the partner that's been waiting so many years for them to get out of prison or jail, and they just trying to do each and everything by the book and make sure everything's to the T so that nothing happens and they can continue to be with them and they don't have that risk of going back to prison. So they're going to do a whole bunch of stuff, and it may seem like they're nitpicking and nagging or whatever. And of course, the person that was in jail, they're going to feel like, oh, you're overbearing, you're doing too much and all this stuff. I just want to have fun. And I get both sides. But at the same time, y'all got to come to a healthy, equal medium in the middle, okay? Because both of you are somewhat correct. They don't want to see you go back, and we know that you've been locked up for a minute, so you want to have that little freedom that you got on the outside world. But you got to do that shit in moderation. You got to have the same people around you. You got to be smart about it, okay? So when Brooklyn, she was just trying to see who the hell it is that you got people coming over, who your friends are, so that, I don't want you to get caught up in the wrong people, caught up in the wrong crowds and all that stuff. And Brian, I guess he gets it, but at the same time, he feel like she doing too much. And then at the same time, I feel like it only came out for real when his friend came over, and only because she said, I want to meet him. There was nothing wrong with her saying that, but at the same time, he just felt like she was doing too much. But you got to understand, she been waiting for you and all this stuff, and so therefore she don't want nothing to happen. All right, can it be a bit much? Yeah, it could possibly be a bit much, because if somebody keep on clocking me, I feel some type of way too, like, damn bitch, let me breathe. But at the same time, I will understand exactly why they doing it in this type of situation. And truth be told, he needs to get rid of that friend. He needs to get rid of that friend, because that friend is no good. For him to sit there, granted, Brian did tell Brooklyn, I'll let you meet him later on. Brooklyn said, fuck that. I'm coming outside and I'm meeting him. And she just wanted to tell him, like, you can feel how you want to feel, nigga, but my man needs to be at home by 3 o'clock so that he won't get penalized. Don't have no bitches around. Don't be doing this, getting him in trouble and all this shit. Bitch, let me tell you something. If I gotta tell my man or my girl, whichever situation we in, don't have this around, don't have that around, and I can't trust him to be around other people of the opposite sex or the same sex, baby, it's a no-go. It's a no-go, okay? That's basically what it is. And they do that because, like I said, them people been up in prison, locked up in many ways, okay? They are picked up, right? And then you got a friend like Adrian, I think that's what his name was, Adrian, who gonna say, yo, so that's what, is she like that all the time? This what it's like or whatever? You really got to be in back 3, or is that just her thing? He was like, no, I got to be in back 3. And it was like, she gonna be saying all that stuff. She been doing that, like, damn, you still on lockdown. Are you sure you want to lock it down with her, whatever? Because, you been in prison or you been in jail for a minute, and it's just been a whole bunch of stuff that has been going on. You got the BBL world, you got this, you got that, you may see something. I said, what are you trying to say? You might as well just go ahead and say, nigga, just go ahead and cheat and get your dick wet on this and this and that, and still have her on the side. That's basically what he was trying to get him to do. I don't care what nobody said. That's what he was saying. And then when he went to go, because he was going to get some clothes, most likely so he could do interviews and stuff like that. And then it's almost 3 o'clock. Dude want to take him to the strip club, and he getting his feelings when Brooklyn call and say, bitch, it's almost 3 o'clock. You need to get your ass home, because, she's more so worried about him missing the curfew. That's the whole thing. And he talks something, man, we finna take him to the strip club. We gonna go up in here, see some fake asses for 5 minutes, and then get the bloody home. I said, ain't nobody going up in no strip club for 5 fucking minutes. Bitch, hell no. Okay, because once you start seeing all that ass shaking, fake or not, baby, you gonna be entranced. And you're going to want to sit down, and then you're going to want some wings. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Get rid of your friend, okay? You have to change your environment. If the friends that was around you when you got locked up or in this messed up predicament don't see the growth in them, because they're not worried about you, going back or, trying to get you back on the right track, you don't need to be around them, okay? I'm not saying every last one of them, but this one right here, I don't know if he really liked that or he just showing out for the cameras, okay? But I just really didn't like him, okay? Bradley and Savannah, break it up. Break it up. I already told y'all, Bradley do not like her the way that she likes him, okay? Bradley probably loved her as a friend, but he is not in love with her, and probably going to use this whole thing about them feeling as if, she's overbearing and she's controlling and nagging and all this stuff. He's going to use that to break up with her. That's just basically what it is. He did come back to the house, and she throwing it out there, because you could have got arrested, for what is it, theft and car theft and all this stuff. It was like, what you talking about? Because you took my mom's car. It's my car, but it's in my mom's name, so technically it's my mom's car. You took the car without permission and all this stuff. I said, oh my goodness. The man just got out. You been humping and hollering, and I can't wait for him to do this. I can't. And now that you got him, you're about to fuck it out. Okay. All of this was over the fact that his sister got him a dentist appointment with a dentist that's 45 minutes away that actually will take his insurance and do what he needs to do for his mouth. That's what she got mad at. Because it wasn't her that did it. It was the sister. I said, oh my goodness. And then they going to a lawyer or whatever, to think, or a consultant, whatever, a lawyer, to see about if he has enough to file a lawsuit against the DOJ, the prisons or whatever, because of the mistreatment that he felt that he was getting while he was in there. And, she was telling him basically at this moment, unless you got some real hardcore proof, it's just going to be like a frivolous lawsuit. Okay. And so it's probably not even worth it right now. But, how everything going with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And he just started telling her, like, I get out, she on my ass, she doing this, she doing that. And then here go Miss Lady. Well, he probably feel like, y'all need to have a little safe space where you got your space apart, he got his space apart. Because at this point, people just getting out of prison, getting out of jail, they feeling like, he's probably feeling that he's in confinement still. I said, now, hold up. Now, see, I was with Savannah with this one. Is this bitch a lawyer or is she a therapist or whatever? Bradley said, well, damn, she could obviously she could tell that something was going on. And so she asked the question and I answered it. And I said, that's true. That's true. But at the same time, I would have felt some way if somebody that I came to get legal service was telling me about something that was therapeutic. And that ain't what we asked for. Why do you need to know my business? Do we got a case or not? Are you going to take the case? Okay. No. Okay. Cool. Have a good day. I don't need you to tell me well, you need to give him some space. Granted, what she said wasn't wrong. But that ain't what I came there to hear. And that's where Savannah coming from. And I'm just like, child. So Savannah on the phone with his sister. She dropped him off at his father's home. And at this point, she like, that's going to be his place where he going to be staying at or whatever. And I'm just like, just break up. Please, just break up. Just break up. I'm so tired of them. Courtney and Will, they will not last. They actually went through and got married. They went through and got married, y'all. And if I have to use a scrunchie as a ring, no, I'm not doing it. I would never do that to my woman. Hell no. Okay, bitch, if I ain't got it, we ain't supposed to be getting married yet. Okay, we ain't supposed to be getting married yet. If y'all ain't supposed to be getting married, you do not love that man. That man, excuse me. Honestly, I don't feel like Will loves her. He's not in love with her. He's infatuated with her. He's in lust with her. And that's literally all that it is. And they're both messing up their lives by doing this whole marriage thing. So now you got a marriage on your account. On you. Okay. And so now then you're going to have an annulment or a divorce, whichever one comes, however long it is, y'all going to find up and wind up doing, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You have to drop her off at the halfway house after this. Baby, when they was up in that car, and the mama said, they was like, thank you, mama, for coming out here. And she was like, congratulations on getting married. Now, all I need to know is, Am I gonna get to the airport on time and I'm gonna get on my flight? Mama was trying to be there, but at the same time, Mama could give a good goddamn less because she was not here for that wedding. Okay, she wasn't here for the union. She wasn't here for none of it because it's weird. Like, bitch, you just got out of jail. This is the first time y'all meeting. You ain't even been talking that long, and now you finna get married. Absolutely the freak not. But you grown, so I can't tell you what to do. You barely come and talk to me. Girl, they talking about an incident where because they almost got into an accident on the road. And then we found out that Courtney had got into an accident with a boyfriend. She was in the car with a boyfriend, and he was driving, and somehow the car flipped over into the expressway, and she didn't have a seatbelt on. She got ejected or whatever. Next thing she knows, she woke up in the hospital. And because she said when she was laying down on the floor, just imagine just laying there and you feeling something on your face or whatever, and you just in a pool of blood and it's just your face just gushing. And for them to show that goddamn injury that she had, I said, oh my God. I'm surprised she wasn't scalped all the way. Okay, but she do got a scar all the way from right here. And she said what really hurt the most about it was that nigga got up out that car and left her there. You my man, and you gonna leave me there? Ugh, Lord, Courtney, you don't have good luck with spouses or partners, I should say, because ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell. I'm gonna leave my boo-boo there, and especially if I'm the one that's driving. I'm the one that's driving, and I ain't gonna say I caused the accident, but I'm the one driving, and if I'm not injured, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna hold my baby in my arms. Baby, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna put I'm taking my shirt off and I'm pushing it all up on the gas so it can stop the bleeding. Because she said it was a lot of blood, bitch. Okay? I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? No, that nigga just left. Meanwhile, they finally dropped the mama off at the airport. Mama is over it. And I feel you, girl. I'm not even mad. Will wound up dropping Courtney off at the halfway house. He gets back to the hotel. He winds up calling her, and she was like, hey. And he said, hey, baby, what's going on? What you doing? Nothing, just wishing that you was here and I was there with you. And he said, oh my God, like I get on the phone with Courtney and I just don't know what's going on. It doesn't even sound like her. I've never heard her sound like this. And I'm scared. Now I had to rewind it a couple of times just to understand what he was talking about. What are you scared about? And I was like, I thought she was talking to somebody else or she was cussing him out or something. It's because she sounded a little intoxicated. And he feels like, she has a problem with drugs and mostly meth. She's not an alcoholic or anything like that. But in his mind, it's like that could get her started back up on drugs and to get, back addicted to the meth and all that stuff. And in that case, I kind of understand, but, don't do too much. Don't do too much into it, okay? Moving on from there, see, that's why you don't need to be. I can't be with somebody I gotta worry this much about. This is so rude. I apologize so much. And I got like 2 more videos to do today. Okay. I just can't be with somebody that I got to worry this much about in the very beginning of being with them. Absolutely not. It's just not going to happen. Moving on from that, Joey and Michael, please, Michael, just say you don't want to be with this man anymore. I am so tired of the charades. You don't want him. You are not in love with him. You are in love with the drugs. Okay? You are in love with the drugs. You are probably a sex addict. You're a drug addict, okay? And that's just what it is. Joey, just like I was talking about the nagging situation, and Joey wants him to be okay, wants him not to, go back and relapse and all that stuff. But I can understand how having somebody hounding you and, basically micromanaging you or whatever could possibly push you to, relapse. Because they're doing the absolute most and you trying to get away from them. And so they pushing you, they trying to stop you from it. And in actuality, they kind of pushing you to it a little bit and not realizing it. Because Joey used to be an addict. Let me hurry the hell up. Joey was an addict. He comes from a family of addicts. And then you keep on playing with this man and you going and visiting his family knowing damn well that you don't want to. You don't want him. And you knew that they weren't going to take it easy on you because they care about Joey. They care about Joey more so than they care about you. They don't know you from nowhere. They just know that as soon as Joey started talking back to you, he went on and he relapsed back into doing meth. Okay? And they don't want that shit for him again. All right? And at this point, you are not a good influence for yourself and you damn sure not a good influence for Joey. And that's all that they worried about. All right? And you getting on the phone telling your friend that you was on there at his house, and it's just like his family is basically a bunch of Joeys, okay? Because it was damn near like an intervention, like it was an AA meeting or a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, okay? And I can understand that because you don't know these people, but at the same time, they're looking out for their son. They're looking out for their son, and they can see right through your ass that you are not a good fit. And I want you to just go ahead and break that shit off because Joey will not. Joey is so head over heels, and he is so blinded by the rose-colored glasses. And I can't even say your dick because y'all didn't even do nothing yet. After he got out, since you've been sober, he's so blinded by it. He's so blinded by what he think is love, and it's truly not. And he needs to elevate and find because love is blind. Word to Eve. And he just needs to let that go. And he's not going to do it unless you put the kibosh on it. And truth be told, Joey seems like the type that's going to be like, Michael will break up with him and say, I can't do this no more. And Joey be like, all right, okay. And then he'll pop back up the next day and be like, no, bitch, you're not going nowhere. We're still together. And he even feels like even if Michael be fucking somebody else in front of him, Joey would get upset, but then he'll be like, if this is what you like, you can have that. And, we can make arrangements and, you can have your little playtime on the side, but you can still come home to me. Joey just gives me that. And I hate that for him. But that was the episode. Let me see. Julius and Alexis, Michael and JoJo. Yeah, I got everybody. Oh, Deandre and Kiana. Break up. You got the nerve to get engaged to this woman. And then didn't even say, will you marry me? And the producer said, why didn't you ask her the question, will you marry me? And he said so that basically give it some time. And the answer was like a roundabout way to say, well, technically, I didn't ask her to. So when they get upset, be like, when she thought, why would you ask me to marry you? And he could be like, well, bitch, I didn't really ask you to marry me. I just put the ring on your finger. It was one of those type of situations. That's how the answer really was when it was sounding to me. And I was just like, to see how things go and to, because it ain't no time frame, no time. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. That girl is in love with you, been in love with you, and you know it, and you are playing fucking games, okay? Leave her the fuck alone and get back with Joella and bitch, what? Because that lady actually want to put you up, okay? And you are playing fucking head games with her, and I do not like it, okay? But anyway, that was the episode, y'all. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. And I'll see y'all later. But hold on. Kiana, you really gonna say yes to that man? And you know damn well that he got to be around that lady that you can't stand because he got them kids. You could barely stand around her for them to even do the drop off. Baby, this ain't gonna work. Save yourself the trouble and let it go. But anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And again, I apologize for the noise. And thank you so much for bearing with me. I'll see y'all later. Peace.